Leos. So you have the Six of Cups, the Judgment, and the Ten of Wands. So someone is coming back trying to appease to you to get you to forgive them. They're trying to make it seem like they were always in the mix for change, and they were always going to change and learn their lessons and all of that other type of stuff. And that's not true. you know, a lot of the times, people are so caught up in their own hubris. They're so caught up with, trying to prove that, they don't need somebody else, and that, they ultra powerful and all this other type of stuff, and, caught up with their little ego and everything like that. And the delusions of their ego that provides them, that what their ego provides to them, to the point where they don't actually really understand the real story. Anyway, so they come back thinking that you Leos are going to be down with it, where you'll just forgive them and accept them back. And it's like, no, you Leos will forgive them, but you're not going to accept them back, though. The Lovers in the Nine of Cups represents, again, see, that sense of entitlement. That's still there. They haven't actually gone anywhere with that sense of entitlement. They're still entitled. They still have that mentality where, it's all about them, still. And they think that somehow that's supposed to work with you. And obviously it's not going to work with you, because the mere fact that they think that they could move in on you like this, treat you this way in the first place, right? For no reason, for no real justifiable reason. Maybe they may have had certain things wrong with them, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they should rip and run around treating people like trash. And then sometimes too, the truth is that sometimes people don't even have anything happen to them, but what they'll do is that they'll develop a story sometimes that's not even really true. Because when you listen to some of the things that these people have gone through, they haven't actually really gone through anything that is worth being like, oh, okay, this person's actually been through some stuff. It's more along the lines of, they, even if they were born, some of them, right? I'm just saying in general, to get you to understand, even though some of them were born with even stuff like privilege, right? They may have had privilege. Sometimes they don't even necessarily even really have a justifiable cause for that. They just want to run around and treat people like garbage. So a lot of you Leos see this for what type of, for what it is. But because this person is still moving entitled, they're still approaching you from the perspective of, they're not actually accepting the fact that they treated you like trash and it was not deserved. They're still with the narrative. They still trying to play the victim to things. And in order to rock with you, they're gonna have to let go of the victim Olympics. They have to, right? Like, don't ever let somebody interact with you from a perspective of them being a victim. Don't ever do that, from my suggestion. You could do that if you want, but from my suggestion, don't do that, because they're always going to have a justifiable means for them to be able to do whatever they wanted to do to you, and then they'll think about it like, oh, they had to because of this. Meanwhile, that's not even really true, right? Like me with the whole player thing. No justifiable cause as to where exactly that's coming from. So the Magician, the Tower, and the World right here for you Leos represents how you're willing to see that for what it is, and that you're also willing to see that at the end of the day, a lot of these people not really being serious as far as, as far as like wanting to develop a better value system and actually do right by themselves and by other people, right? Specifically you. So the World right here represents you definitely have to protect yourself from them, mentally, spiritually, physically, all that stuff, because they're faking it. They're not actually really being serious at all. They're telling you that they've learned their lesson, but you want to know how they learn their lesson is by asking them what they've done and listening to, well, most of the times, right? There's other ways, but most of the times asking them, well, what have they actually done? And most of the times they're not actually going to tell you what it is that they did, because even the accountability of having to actually verbally say what they've done isn't working. So the Four of Swords and the Queen of Wands is about how, and since that's the case, a lot of you need to understand that, you know, they're finished, they're doomed. You know, they're not actually going to ever, at this point, doesn't seem like it, really going to learn from their lessons, because this is what it is that hopelessly delusional people are, right? Like, you gotta understand, Leo, that, you know, which brings me to my next point as to why it is that you have to learn to let certain things go, and to learn how to, you know, learn how to develop that surfer type of mentality, is because, you know, at the end of the day, right, you have to learn to let a lot of people go, right? Especially when you're chasing after excellence in your own right. A lot of people, part of the reason why a lot of people are not going to be able to go with you is because of the fact that a lot of people are hopelessly caught up in their own delusions of grandeur, and that delusion, thinking that they're better than other people, competing with other people, you know, acting like hyenas, you know, they don't have any common sense, betraying other people, no honor, no integrity. That stuff doesn't point you in the direction of getting to where it is that you want. It sets you back. Because, you know, I ain't even gonna get into that. But let's clarify some cards, right? So they're not learning from their lessons. So you Leos have to essentially look at it for what it is and see that they're too far gone at this point. Unless they turn back at some point, they're going to continue to be too far gone, right? They won't ever deal with you Leos from the capacity of, you know, you creating a different standard. They're not actually going to learn from that capacity. They're always going to come at you from the capacity of, and other people, of no accountability, acting like they don't ever do anything wrong, you know, emotional illiteracy and all of that. Too far gone. So you Leos have to be able to now, like I said, develop that surfer mentality. That's a lot of people you talking about, just in a general thing, let alone romance. You know, this goes right back to what it is I was saying about a few months ago, how a lot of people don't be knowing whether it is that they coming or going, right? Like, I've seen in certain situations myself, individuals that will tell me to, will first tell me that's why it is I don't have a significant other, because I'm too strict and I'm too judgmental, right? And trying to imply that I'm the one that's wrong, right? They didn't say that, but they're trying to say that they didn't actually give any kind of real context, but they would say, well, that's why I don't have a significant other, you know, and use that as a shaming tactic. But then we'll find themselves in a worse situation than me, where they not only with somebody, but the person is fully taking advantage of them by having them do everything, pay all the bills, do everything. And it's like, what kind of scenario is that? So on one hand, how is it that you would shame me, right? Because I have standards and self-respect, but then at the same time, you fall for the same okie doke and actually worse. What is it? Is it because you're that crisscross, or is it that you're trying to, from your own actions, show me what it's like without saying it, what it would be like? Either way, I'm not asking you to do that. So this is what I mean when I say that you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't know whether or not they coming or going. Because on one hand is, the person would tell me just ignore them with no context. But at the time, you thinking to yourself, this person is being real inconsiderate, because I'm coming to them looking for a strategic answer that we can essentially come up with, right? But at the same time, they do that to their own self, to their own life. So let's clarify the Queen of Wands. Matter of fact, let's clarify the world for you Leos. So you have the Six of Swords, the Judgment, Two of Cups, Ten of Pentacles, and then you have the Eight of Cups. So this is what I'm talking about. The Six of Swords and the Judgment is about how, because you Leos, you know, you see it for what it is. You know, how they gonna come into your life on one hand, but then still from a perspective like they're giving you a second chance. You're not dealing with that. The Two of Cups, the Ten of Pentacles, and the Eight of Cups, that's you, because you Leos understand that they're still not ready for a real relationship like that. Not with you, you know, not really with anybody, but especially not with you, because you're too good, like I said before, right? Most of this stuff is because a lot of people are broken in the first place. And for you Leos, you just too good in order to deal with them, and they know that. So every time they're going to try to make it seem like you're the one that's down bad and all that stuff. But that's it. Comment on the video, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share the video. Peace.